We ran a little bit late here, but here we are. Jim and I actually did services at Clarendale, where Miriam Raskin is, on Hanley, and it was fun, actually. We had a big crowd, bigger than tonight. We had a big crowd, and yeah, it was very fun. Miriam Raskin, you know, is the queen of Clarendale. Am I not speaking into the microphone? Make sure it's for Jim. And Moisey Shopper, we had a bunch of people there. Susan Bach, you know. So there were a bunch of people there. It was really kind of... Today, just before this, before we had dinner.
Oh, God, that's great. Is that the first time you've been in...
I went to visit Miriam there once, but yeah.
I heard it.
It's very nice. Very nice. It's very nice. Did who? Yes, Moisey and Bunny are both there.
Okay.
They're both there. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to anybody who might be streaming. It's hard to tell where the cameras are, but take a breath. Sam and Alyssa, would you like to light the Shabbat candles? Would you come do that together? Sam and Alyssa. Sam and Alyssa. How about that? Yeah. I think we're still in the in the birthday, happy birthday stand glow. That was so lovely. Lisa made it so beautiful. Thank you. And the candle blessing is on page 5. This is my fourth time lighting the candles today, actually. I lit them with the little babies this morning. Yeah, you know, in the nest. They're like 2 and 3 years old, and they take in the light. They're so cute. They cover their eyes, you know, and they're just so cute. They cover their eyes for everything now, even for the bread. They cover their eyes. They just know it. And then we did it at the Clarendale. We did it at our home, and now you can't light, and you know, you just can't bring in Shabbat enough time. So we take a breath. This is it. We give ourselves some space to enter into a holy space. You know, it's not gonna happen for us. We have to make it happen. We have to take it. And so, thank you for lighting these candles. And do you guys want to? Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. So let's sing our way into the peace of Shabbat. Well, welcome. The Torah portion introduces us to a different kind of an angel that has a sword. But these angels of Shabbat, they can be mischievous, so we invite them to come and bless us, but not to stay too long because they can cause trouble. To bless us, and then go on to the next place. And, you know, bring those blessings to all the places in the world that could use a little blessing tonight. Page 6.
Aleichem, Malachi Hashari, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech Malachi Hamelachim. הקדוש ברוך הוא. בורכם לשלום, מלכי השלום. מלכי עליון, מלכי הרחמים. מי מלך מלכי המלכים. הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלכי השלום. מלכי עליון, מלכי הרחמים. מי מלך מלכי המלכים. הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלכי השלום. מלכי עליון, מלכי הרחמים. מי מלך מלכי המלכים. הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 7.
What's next? What is it? Isn't that nice?
Sorry. There's a flow to these three prayers. First, we welcome the angels. Then we welcome the extra soul. And then we welcome our beloveds, that which makes us whole. Right?
Yeah.
So.
יום זה לישראל אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה. אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת פיגודים במעמד סיני, שבת ומועדים תשמור בכל שנה לערוך לפניי מזל וארוחה.
Shabbat Menucha.
שבת מנוחה. יום זה לישראל אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה. אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה. חמדת לבבות לאומה שבורה, לנפשות נכבות נשמה יתרה, מנפש מצרה יסיר הנחה.
Shabbat Menucha.
שבת מנוחה.
Wants to know if I'm paying attention.
יום זה לישראל אורה ושמחה,
אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה. אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה.
קידשת ברכת אותו מכל ימים, ששת כילית מלאכת עולמים, בו מצאו עגומים השקט וביטחה.
Shabbat Menucha.
שבת מנוחה.
Help me out here. Shabbat Menucha. That's what we got. A little
יום
Sabbath
זה
Menucha. More than rest. That deep
אורה
place that we go where there's light and there's joy and there's renewal. That deep, deep feeling of rest.
אורה ושמחה,
That comes from joy.
שבת מנוחה.
You know, there's grief, despair, and pain, disappointment. It takes up space. So on Shabbat, we're challenged to expand. Just make more space. It's infinite. Just like it's infinite out there, it's infinite in here. It doesn't go away, but we make room for more.
שבת שלום,
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, shalom.
שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שבת שלום, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom,
Shalom.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, shalom.
One more. Page 8. L'chadut.
בחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד, שמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתחילה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו לך, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי, יורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובסוף עולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבה.
Call each other to prayer with the words of the Baruch Hu on page 11.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד. המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד.
Page 15.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
Page 16. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Emet, page 18. Our freedom song, our protest song, our song that reminds us where we came from and that we have a long way yet to go.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נוראתי לא תוסף אלה, מלאכותיך ובניך, בוקיים לפני משה, זה אלי, זה אלי, זה אלי, זה אלי, זה אלי, זה אלי, זה אלי אנו יאמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך, ועד ונאמר כי ודע אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו. As you redeemed Jacob and saved him from arms that were stronger than his own, so may you redeem all who are oppressed and persecuted. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Then Miriam, Ha-Neviah, the prophetess, she took a drum in her hand and we followed her with drums and dancing, and then Miriam, she chanted with us. Shiru le'Adonai ki ga'o ga'a, 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 Sus v'rochvo ramavaya, Sus v'rochvo ramavaya, Shiru le'Adonai ki ga'o ga'a, Shiru le'Adonai ki ga'o ga'a.
Page 20.
Fros aleinu, Sukkot Shalomecha, spread over us the shelter of your peace. Fros aleinu, Sukkot Shalomecha, spread over us the shelter of your peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Haporei Sukkot Shalom aleinu, V'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim, v'al Yerushalayim, and over Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. We are praying for the peace of Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem.
Page 21.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתו, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. Children of Israel shall keep the Shabbos, observing it in every generation as a covenant for all time. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel. You know that in 6 days the Eternal One created the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day God rested. Vayi nafash. God breathed the soul into creation. Vayi nafash. God breathed the soul into creation. Vayi nafash, vayi nafash, vayi nafash, vayi nafash, vayi nafash.
Page 22. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayedechol be'Yisrael, ba'agala, uv'izman kariv v'emru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam yomei omaya yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei dekudasha brichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran be'alma, v'emru, Amen. You can rise if you're able. If you'd rather stay seated, that's fine too, as we enter into the Holy of Holies of the prayers, the tefillah. We'll begin together and then invite everyone to go on their own. Through the prayers, we'll meet when everyone is seated with a prayer for peace. Adonai sifatai tiftach v'ya gita hilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Shalom Rab
Page 30.
al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rab al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rab al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha. Tasi leolam. Ir mi quiero, madre. Ir mi quiero, madre. Ir mi quiero, madre. Ir mi quiero, madre.
This week's Torah portion is all about slowing down. The prophet Bilam is hired by Balak, the king, to put a curse on the Jewish people. The people are becoming too numerous, and so they are a threat to Balak's grazing areas. At first, Bilam says no to the king Balak because he doesn't want to cross the God of Israel. But God tells Bilam to go forward in a confusing series of events. It's an important story even up to that point because while Balak might want to be destroying the people of Israel, you can kind of understand where he's coming from. You have to look from his perspective that he feels threatened, and his grazing areas are threatened by the people of Israel, the tribe that is growing so numerous that it really is a threat to him. And so put a little curse on the people, he says to Bilam, the itinerant prophet. What could it hurt? Bilam is hurrying along to curse the people when an angel with a sword appears in the road. The problem is Bilam doesn't see the angel, the threat, but his donkey does. The donkey swerves to avoid the sword, and 3 times the donkey swerves, and 3 times Bilam beats the donkey. And then finally, Bilam's donkey speaks and says, this is one of the miracles built into creation if you're wondering why the donkey speaks. The donkey says, what have I done that you should treat me this way? Am I not the same donkey that served you for so long? The donkey speaking slows Bilam down, as you can imagine. What? You speak? It slows him down and reminds him of their relationship. And Bilam now, too, because he's slowed down, because he remembers his trusted friend, he too sees the angel with the sword, and he realizes that his donkey, the friend, has saved his life. You see, the donkey slows things down just enough and makes the connection for the spiritual, the angel, to become material. But for Bilam to be able to see the angel, for Bilam to understand that this is a complicated, confusing journey, he must be able to see to be able to do the right thing. So Bilam now can see and realizes that every step of the way, the material that he sees is truly the spiritual in a garment. It is just God in another form. And when he slows down enough, he can see what he needs to see. And so when he climbs the mountain to curse the people, he takes his time. And he looks into our tents, and he once again sees the spiritual becoming physical. He sees the generations caring for each other, protecting each other. He sees generosity and unconditional love and kind words being spoken, even when no one is watching. The spiritual manifest in the material world, because ultimately, physics teaches us, the spiritual is the physical. The physical is the spiritual. They are not two. They are all one. Bilam and his donkey ask us to be clear about the spiritual values we want to guide us and slow us down so that the physical can embrace them. That way our actions in this world will be a garment for our values and the physical manifestation of the spiritual. How we speak to each other, how we love each other, and how we walk in the world, no matter how difficult it is. These become an expression of our deepest spiritual truths. Next week, we will see what happens when we forget this lesson. For next week, Pinchas takes the law into his own hands. He becomes a zealot for God, and he commits murder in the name of God. And the vav in the word shalom, the connecting letter that makes it om, that connecting vav that connects us, that connects the heavens and the earth, the very vav that makes shalom, shalom, is broken. Broken until that time that we can figure out how to be religionists who are able to stand for righteousness without regard for political advantage and self-interest, and transcend the rhetoric to bring our deepest moral and spiritual vision into the public consciousness without claiming that God takes sides. To find a way that recognizes that our faith is not just a feeling in the soul, but an entrance into reality, an entrance into the whole world without reducing it to a soundbite or a simple solution based solely on the material world. Because we know better. We know that like Bilam, if we are able to be a blessing and to bring blessings and to see the blessing, we must see the spiritual in the material. We must be able to see God in everything. So Shabbat comes and teaches us to slow down enough to see that spiritual and ethical and moral unity are needed for the material to take shape in ways that heal and do not harm. The revolution, the change that we seek, is a long game. There are no shortcuts to fixing everything that's broken. There are no Band-Aids that are big enough for today. No things that will solve the underlying assaults on our right to vote, to be safe from automatic weapons, to our right to an abortion and bodily autonomy, to gender equality and racial equity. We know the list, and we are seeing much more clearly how all of these are connected, and that the slowing down to see all the possibilities that let Bilam see the angel in the road that opened his eyes. This is what we must do too. Bilam and his talking donkey can remind us that in the end there is not separations of our worlds. And when we honor our connections between all people and the planet, between the public and the private spheres of our lives, and between the spiritual and the physical realms, then we will continue to receive that blessing of Bilam. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. And maybe we will be part of what repairs that broken vav and shalom, the broken peace that will one day be whole. You got something? Okay. Such a good portion, isn't it?
By the sea there is a tower. In the tower there is a window. In the window there is a girl, she beckons to her beloved. She peeks and hides, she peeks and hides, to awaken more love in her beloved. Si l'amore hace leche, yo me hago pescador. Pescaré a mis dolores con palabricas del amor. Pescaré a mis dolores con palabricas del amor. El amor è una torre, e la torre è una ventana, el amor è una torre, e la torre è una ventana.
Shabbat, a healing prayer. You know, if you can start to feel that, if you're feeling a little bit of heaviness, it's because tomorrow night begins the 3 weeks. Tomorrow night begins the Shvasrei, the 17th of Tammuz, and those 3 weeks will lead us to Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, and those 3 weeks are really our gift. It's a time that we just have permission to mourn and wail as we need to sometimes. And we feel the heaviness of this time. Traditionally, it says the 17th of Tammuz was when the walls were breached in the temple, and 9th of Av, of course, when the temple and everything terrible happened. It's good that we put it all on one day, you know? We're going to have one day to be sad and to wail and to be sad. Might as well put all the terrible things on one day. The destruction of both temples, Torquemada, the Inquisition, everything. Let it all happen. The pogroms, Tisha B'Av, you know? Let it all be on the 9th of Av. It's good that we have this time, though. Because if we don't grieve, if we don't take this time to grieve together collectively, individually, then we'll never be able to lift ourselves up and be ready for Elul, that prepares us for the chutzpah on the new moon of Tishrei, to be able to stand together and say, Happy New Year, and mean it. So our work really begins tomorrow night. After Shabbat, our work begins tomorrow night. To really do the work we need to do to be ready for a new year, so that when we wish each other a happy new year, a better year, and a year of peace, we've done the work to earn it, to mean it. Oh, there's a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. But a lot of good people doing the work. So let's offer a Misha Berach, a healing prayer to all the people who have asked us to pray for them. Anybody here have someone they'd like to lift up in prayer? Yeah. We pray for her. Thank you. Anybody else? Let me offer some of the names on our list. Meredith Berkowitz, we keep praying for you. Eileen Ehrlich, Sammy Schoss, Margaret Katz, Ruth Groff, Vera Kropf, Joan Butcher, Marvin Crane, Janet Cunningham, Simon Ramoser Conch, Hannah Kayla, Batsara Leah, Aunt Ari Iris, Mary Holtz, Susan Fadum, Panina Bat Devora, Michael Davenport, Chris Kleinheist, Toby Schreiber, Debbie Zarensky, Dor Marion Poe, Michael Michelle, Rick Isserman, Rick, we're praying for you, Ruth Rosenberg, Lori Bliss, Jack Samuel Geller, Elon Nissenbaum, please keep healing, Benjamin, Jonathan, and Autumn, are their names on the stream?
Yes, Shirley and Xavier.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you for all the names that we've mentioned, for all the people that you hold in your hearts, of course, for people who are living in war-torn places that have been just terribly wounded, for those who are wounded in the spirit because they've been victims of violence, of shooting, poverty, the overturning of Roe, and all the other violence that we have been bombarded with. We pray for souls to find the strength to heal.
Refuat HaNefesh u'refuat HaGuf, for the healing of the spirit, the healing of the body, for the healing of the spirit, the healing of the body, for those we know, for those we don't know. On my right, the angel Michael, on my left, the angel Gabriel, in front of me the angel Uriel, behind me the angel Raphael, above my head, 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 Shekhinah. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim, blessed are you, great healer. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen. The words of the Aleinu tell us to face east towards Jerusalem, the city of peace, and take upon us the challenges that will take our prayers and give them wings. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer bereshit, esanu kikoye haratzon, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchekinu kahem, vegor aleinu k'chol amonam, v'nachnu korim, u'nishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol ha'aretz, v'yom ha'u, yiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo,
I'll read the piece. I'll read the piece and do the rest. I can't. My leg hurts. I'll read the piece. My leg hurts. It's hard for me to get up. Memorial. Oh, Holy Mother, if I were standing with you, I wouldn't speak a word. I would sit in the dirt, cry within, and silent. I would leave the spigot onto tears open, offer up my separation. I would wear a big Bukharan hat on my head for humility and respect. I would wrap myself in fringes, clutch the fringes to my heart line. I would repeat the names of human beings, a mantra of grief for lives lost and lives found. I would ask, is there God among us? And until I believed there was God within or among or around, until God was everywhere. Then I would say to the person sitting next to me, right side, left side, the names of my beloveds. I would speak their names until I felt myself a fountain overflowing. The fountain I received from them would never go dry. I might become such a fountain myself someday. Amen.
If anyone has someone that they have come to say Kaddish for, I ask you to stand first and ask you to tell us the names. For your mother, may her memory be a blessing. Remember when she died. Thank you for being with us to honor her tonight. Sarah? I'm sorry? Oh, for Sylvia, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for remembering her, Sarah. And for Sylvia. And your mother. She's still with us. I know it's past the year. I know. Yeah. It is hard to let go. She's still here. Thank you.
My sister-in-law was hit by a car on the 4th of July in
Oh.
LA and passed. And her name is Jackie Mosier, 72.
Oh, I'm so sorry for Jackie. May her memory be a blessing and her family find comfort. Thank you. Lisa? For Michael. I feel like he's really part of the family. Thank you. Thank you. And let's stand together with our mourners to let them know they're not alone. Ask Autumn if there's anybody in the...
We have Esther Blumoff.
Oh, thank you, Autumn. Thank you, thank you. And just some people that we've known here, Dolores Sachs, Julia Spiegel, survivor of the Holocaust, Karen Margot, and David Yaffe, Shirley Osheroff, Steve McAllister. Remember Steve McAllister? So when we started in the early 80s and there was the AIDS epidemic, we decided we needed to have people with AIDS teaching in our schools so that our kids wouldn't be afraid and we could bring love to a community that had no family, that was being left out. And Steve McAllister somehow found us and he taught in our school and we loved him as for every last breath. And he really graced us, and I think it's important to remember him and his story. We are the only ones that say Kaddish for Steve, so really important. Mark Maloney, it's his yard site, can't forget him. Samuel Rosenthal was one of the first people on our yahrzeit board. When we first started, we had a family, and the mom was she was a radiologist, and she was 9 months pregnant, and she didn't feel the baby moving anymore. So she went to the hospital by herself, and she saw that the baby had died. And she had to deliver the baby. And she's not Jewish, but her husband is Jewish, and they belong here. And she called me and said, "What do I do?" Because, you know, in Jewish tradition, you don't normally bury a baby, right? That doesn't live to take its first breath. And I said, "Well, we're going to do whatever feels right to you." She said, "I want to name my baby." So we went and we held the baby together. We named him Samuel Moses Rosenthal. And we held him, and she was pretty torn up. And we didn't have a minyan. Stan, you were probably around then. And we called the mitzvah corps that had just started, and we put a call out for a minyan to meet us at the cemetery. And the cemetery gave us a plot, and the funeral home gave us a little casket. And together, that was one of our very first funerals as a community, as we buried Samuel Moses Rosenthal. And this is his yahrzeit. And his name is on our yahrzeit board, because to us, he was a person, he was a life that gave us, that taught us something important. Shirley Sherman, she's on here. It's her yahrzeit as well. Thank you.
David.
Maybe all of these people are together.
David Castle. David.
And it's also the month anniversary. It's the Shloshim of David Kaskowitz, the wonderful artist. And we were going to have a showing of his art tonight, but COVID has kept his family away. But we will honor David here and bring his art here. So thanks for reminding me. Karen Margot, Joan Zucker, Allison and Josie Abitz, Linda Holtzman, Samuel Nussbaum, Kyle Curlier. These are all members we lost this year. Pat Denlow, of course, Michael, Dr. Stan Frager, Susan Carlson, Arthur Lash, Shirley Patisha we mentioned, Faye Zimmerman, Renee Deal, one of our great teachers, Martin and Francis Ilovicki, George Newman, Nina Balsam, Betty Renee Marver, Alice Handelman, Sylvia Ginspark, David Kaskowitz, Larry Mange, and most recently, Bill Weiner. Of course, we think about all the people who have died in the crossfire of the violence in the world, especially the children. And we will begin to say Kaddish, unfortunately, for all of those women who don't have access to an abortion. And because of that, it takes their lives. Everyone, a whole world, right? Everyone, a whole world. Shame on us. You know, there's certain things we can't stop from happening. But the ones that we can stop, the ones that we can avoid, shame on us, right? But the Kaddish teaches us to never give up hope and living our lives with meaning and working to live more and love more. To get to that last line, which is always a prayer for peace. So let's say together, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalmad zivrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayachon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol be'Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'ibru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei d'kudasha b'richu. La'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata ta'amiran be'alma be'ibru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlomo Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'rumav, u'ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen.
Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, ve'imru,
Amen. I want to mention two things that are coming up on July 19th, which I don't even know what day that is. Is that like Tuesday? We are having a training right. Oh, I thought the training was here. Maybe the training is at St. Francis Xavier College Church. I guess it is. I thought it was here. But it's a training that ASHRAE and CRC are holding to help us prepare if the lawsuit for the photo ID law that has just been passed by the governor, if we can't stay that law and we can't, and the lawsuit doesn't go forward this time as it has twice before, but so if people are going to need, you don't need a photo ID for August, but it's really possible that we'll need a photo ID for November. So we're starting to do trainings, and the first one is Tuesday, and we're going to train people to go to all of the places where we think we might catch people who don't have photo IDs, and sign them up, and figure out how to help them negotiate the system, so they don't have to stand online at the DMV, which is impossible, and we have the funds, we have the know-how to get on a computer for people who don't have that access and get them photo IDs right away. Yeah.
I volunteer at St. Francis.
Oh, great.
The only Jew volunteering there.
Well,
And we help people
right.
get their birth certificates
Right.
and IDs for voting.
Well, we are partnering with you, of course, and we've been working with them. And see, the thing about this is what we've learned, is St. Francis has the know-how, and they've been doing this forever, but they don't have access to some of the Black community that we have, that some of the people maybe on the north side that need this the most. It is here. I thought it was here. So the training is here, and maybe you'll come and help.
I don't even know about this, but I will ask them Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Are you working with Christine Travis?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. She's the maven. That's what we try to do. We don't have to reinvent any wheels around here. We just have to work with people who are doing the work, right? So we reached out to them and said, look, you've got the know-how, and we've got the access. Let's partner together. So we're actually going to be setting up in some of the hubs around the city. We're going to the health fairs, because we will also have volunteers from some of the churches that we've been working with. Yeah. Love it.
And people say prayers, and then they'll say the Lord's Prayer, and they can't see that I'm not saying it behind my back, but it's
Right.
the same idea.
Right. Love it. And I love that you're there. You see, I mean, really, is that a sign or what? I mean, hello. Yeah. Beautiful. Oh my God. I mean, is that a sign? And so the only other thing I want to mention is Jim started a new program called Divided Guitar, Mondays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. at night. And for the next, starting on Monday, for the next 3 weeks, during the 3 weeks, we'll be doing a study, kind of like we did with the Psalms and with Song of Songs. We'll be doing Lamentations, Echa, for those 6 weeks, right? Yes. Yes. Tomorrow. It's fabulous. Oh my God. If you haven't seen their mural in Daman, he was going to be here tonight for David. So, but yeah, if you haven't been by that mural in Daman, you've probably seen it in some of it's fabulous, isn't it? So, thank you. Tomorrow afternoon at 5, I thought I saw that. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Worth seeing. So many wonderful things. If you have high holiday readings, get them in. Anybody out there? And that's it. Lots of things going on, lots of classes and opportunities to serve. And I just can't believe it. It's so great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let's put our arms around each other, give each other a blessing. And there's Kiddush and Challah out there. We'll try to do it with masks on because I know it's just things are not getting better. So be safe. As we say, you ready? Do a blessing. May God guard over you and keep you safe. May the light of God's love flow through you and give you grace. And as we work to heal that broken vav, let us be our best versions of ourselves and of God, so that we can bring more shalom, more peace to our hearts, our homes, our community, and our planet. We say together, Amen. And Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks to Autumn.